What's up, Tweeners? Welcome back to another Tweener tennis video today, and we are already done with 1 week of Wimbledon, and that has flown by. I didn't expect it to go by that quickly, but it's already the start of the second week. I'm currently recording on the paused Sunday that we like to call it, so that way we wait for more tournament action that's happening on Monday. But I wanted to bring you a week 1 recap of what's been going on at the tournament, at the All England Club, and show you guys what you've possibly been missing, or some interesting things that I've been finding as well. Now, if we're going to start with the men's side, I think the first thing I have to do is shout out Francis Tiafoe for beating Stefanos Tsitsipas in the first round. I mean, the guy won a challenger, and then he beats the number 3 seed of the tournament. This was an unbelievable feat for him, even though he lost to Karen Khachanov, I believe, in the third round. He's been doing really great, so congratulations to him. Also, Sebastian Korda. A lot of Americans have been doing really well, at least so far. Denis Kudla was so close to taking a set off Novak. He even played well, but Novak got the best of him in straight sets. But that was a really fun match to watch. Kudla's been playing out of his mind this tournament. So has Korda. Korda's been, honestly, been turning heads a lot more than we expected. This kid has been on the up and up, especially with his whole family being professional golfers. I believe his sister just won the Women's U.S. Open. Like, this whole family, it's, I think, the best quote that I've seen, even though I don't like the show, but keeping up with the Kordas needs to be a show. Just hands down. Tennis Channel needs to do that, or Amazon, or someone. If not, I will, Sebastian, if you're watching this, I will document your family's life. Honestly, it would be a really fun treat to do that. And I think that's the first thing that I had to point out for you guys, is the amount of Americans that are doing well. For the men, another thing that we've been noticing is Roger's been playing very well. He's had some trouble in the first couple rounds, but when he played against Cam Norrie, I thought he did an unbelievable job. It's probably one of the best times we've seen Roger play so far on the grass this year, and he kind of looked like Rafa pumping himself up after he won. That whole, like, come on, like, fist pump to the ground was actually really fun to watch, so hopefully we get to see him play. Another guy on the men's side that we have to talk about is Andy Murray, getting through 2 rounds and then facing Denis Shapovalov. It was such a treat to see him win and play on center court and have that kind of atmosphere at Wimbledon. I feel like it's very hard to have that atmosphere at other tournaments, but seeing the Brits support Andy Murray like that was something we've been waiting for a very long time. Even though he lost to Shapo in straight sets, and I think it was the worst loss that he's ever had at a Grand Slam, it was just nice to see him playing consistent tennis again and playing to a high level. And I can't wait to see where he's going to be in the next couple months, but it would be nice to see Andy coming back into the scene like this, and we really do miss him playing at this level as well. Speaking about Americans, for the men, Taylor Fritz went 4 sets with Zverev in the third round, I believe it was. Yeah, and Fritz, as the 31 seed, 3 weeks post-surgery, had one of the best runs I've ever seen. Honestly, for a guy, and I think it all comes down to the fact that he had that surgery on his knee. He almost tore his MCL or ACL. It was really bad. And then 3 weeks, recovers, and plays really, really well. That's unbelievable to me. So shout out to Taylor Fritz for somehow persevering through that kind of pain and just that work ethic to get back to the game. That was unbelievable, so shout out to Taylor Fritz. Another one, Cam Norrie. Cam Norrie has had a really good run before he met Federer in the third round. Let's be real here. Like, Cam Norrie having that British support like Dan Evans did. Dan Evans that played on center court but lost to Korda. I mean, that's something that people love to see at at the All England Club. I even got my all whites on. I got last year's Wimbledon kit on. I've been having a lot of fun following this year's tournament, and if we stick along the theme of English players, Emma Raducanu, let's give her a round of applause, because seriously, the first English woman to get to the 4th round in the second week of Wimbledon in a very, very long time. And the fact that Konta has, even though she had to pull out of this tournament, Johanna Konta had to pull out of this tournament because of COVID protocol, no British woman, not even Konta, has gotten that far recently. And for an 18, 19-year-old like Emma Raducanu to play this well on a big stage in her home country, it's thrilling. It's really thrilling, because just the amount of emotion you saw on her face and the photos that came out of her win were unbelievable. So you have to look at Emma Raducanu as one of the best to come up, at least in the British scene on the women's side. Like Eden Silva, Katie Bolter, Katie Swan, and now Emma Raducanu's possibly passing all of them for the next big Wimbledon winner. I mean, that's unbelievable. So shout out to her. And sticking with the women, we have to point out Serena Williams. Slipped and fell, had to retire during her first round match. It was a wild day, that was, and she came in this whole regal thing, like as Serena does, looks just like apparently royalty on court, and slips and falls and has to retire. I wrote an article on why she didn't have to do press, and this will be another topic for another day, but if you want to go read that article, I'll leave a link to it in the description below. She didn't have to do press after retiring, and that kind of surprised me, especially since Osaka took off the tournament and really didn't, and got a lot of criticism for it. Just because it's not a physical injury doesn't mean you're not going through anything, so I just want to point that out to everyone. We still got some young talent in the women's side of the draw. We got Raducanu facing Tomljanovic, and whoever wins that plays Barty or Krejcova. Krejcova, our 2021 French Open champion, 14th seed at this year's Wimbledon, playing the number 1 seed here on grass, and Krejcova won doubles. She won the Grand Slam doubles title here at Wimbledon, I believe. She's very familiar with this kind of surface, so I don't know. Maybe that's an upset. And then you have Raducanu Tomljanovic. This is going to be a really good match in terms of young talent on the WTA Tour. Paula Badoza had a really great run at Charleston. Had an unbelievable interview with her. Go check it out. Click the I on this top bar. She's playing Karolina Muchova. Muchova is not shy of this stage. She has been here before. It would be nice to see both of them go on, but either way, it's going to be really fun to watch them play against each other. Then you have Coco Gauff versus a Wimbledon champion in Angelique Kerber. Kerber's playing really well. She won a title before coming to Wimbledon. She's kind of back into that driver's seat that she once was a couple years ago, where she won 2 slams in a year. Was it 2 or 3? She's won 3, but she won 2 in a year. You have Pliskova versus Samsonova. I honestly think Samsonova could beat Pliskova here. I'm just going to say that out loud. I think that's a really interesting matchup to watch. And then you have Madison Keys. Madison Keys making a comeback on the WTA Tour. She's playing Golubic from Switzerland. She is a tough player to face. She has a lot of experience playing big players. They're going to play the winner, Samsonova versus Pliskova. And then rounding off the bottom, this bottom is so tough to call because Ons Jabeur, shout out to her, beat Muguruza in one of the best matches at Wimbledon so far. 100%. Ons Jabeur beating Muguruza. And she's going to be taking Iga Swiatek. And then the winner of that faces Rybakina and Sabalenka. And that matchup is the match to watch this Wimbledon. Out of all these matchups, Rybakina versus Sabalenka is going to be my favorite to watch. I would highly recommend you guys watch that. And just because it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle of hard shots. Rybakina made her first Grand Slam semifinal at the French Open this year. So, honestly, that's going to be the match to watch. And honestly, in my personal opinion, it's between these two getting to the final. It's between those two getting to the final. So, those are my predictions moving forward. Let me know what you guys think. I believe I said that. That was the hardest one when I did my preview with Gil Gross. And surprises of this tournament so far, on grass at least, Christian Garin, a clay court player, 17th seed, getting to the 4th round, playing Novak Djokovic in this 4th round matchup. And then you have Fucsovics versus Rublev. Like, the meme of just Rublev and Fucsovics just constantly playing each other is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Fucsovics announced they never wanted to play Rublev again, but it's happening. Let's be real here. Then we have Khachanov versus Korda. That's going to be a really fun one to watch. I think Korda could actually make his first Grand Slam quarterfinal here. I honestly do, and that's going to be a fun one. Denis Shapo versus Batista Agut. I don't know if Shapo could beat Batista Agut. Batista Agut is actually pretty good on this surface compared to his favorite surface, which is clay. But I actually think Batista Agut's going to take that one. Berrettini versus Ivashka. That's a interesting one as well. Berrettini's been playing really well on the grass this year. Auger-Aliassime had a walkover, yes, because he was tied a set apiece against Nick Kyrgios. Nick Kyrgios had to pull out. And another guy that had a good first 2 rounds playing at Wimbledon and then ending up retiring due to an injury. The guy hasn't played since the Australian Open, so he's really trying to get back out there. But it's nice to see him play, and it was fun to see him and Venus Williams win a round of mixed doubles as well, if you guys didn't see that. So, Auger-Aliassime versus Zverev, Federer versus Sonego, and then whoever wins that plays the winner of Hurkacz and Medvedev. That bottom half, I think, is whoever wins that is going to the final. Medvedev really actually starting to prove himself as an expansive player that's not just focused on hard court. We saw that at the French for a little bit. We saw that here at Wimbledon. So far, he's already in the 4th round. So it's going to be very interesting, at least this bottom half, because I think Berrettini will beat Zverev, and then Federer's going to play Medvedev. Federer would beat Medvedev, in my opinion. Who knows, to be honest, but that's going to be the one that I'm going to be looking out for, the bottom half at least. And then I don't think anyone's going to stop Novak. I still think Novak's going to win this tournament. We've said this before, that there's the possibility of him winning the Golden Slam with the Olympics this year as well. So winning all 4 slams and the gold medal at the Olympics in 1 year. No one has done it since Steffi Graf. And I didn't think it was possible until Novak this year. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this is going to go, because we actually could be witnessing history. And he's going for the tie of 20 slams with Rafa and Roger. So, yeah, I don't know if I like admitting that or not, but it's the truth, though. He's been playing really well. During this tournament, we also have to point out that a lot of people that played Wimbledon that were announced on the Olympic rosters for tennis have decided to pull out. I believe Rafa announced that he was pulling out either way. Osaka's playing. It was Serena. Serena announced she's not playing the Olympics this year. I believe Yonex Sinner for Italy pulled out this year, so Musetti actually might replace him on that roster. I think we have, in terms for the men, for Americans, we have Francis Tiafoe, Austin Krajicek, Marcus Giron. Korda's not in it. I'm surprised about that. Tommy Paul, Tennis Sandgren, Rajiv Ram, and I think that's the men's side for that. I know Coco Gauff is playing, Nicole Melikar is playing. Who else? I think Maddox Sands is playing again as well. She's just playing doubles. But the Olympics is going to be really interesting just because of the incentive that it has for players. Because coming after a Grand Slam as well on a different surface and then traveling to Tokyo, there's a lot of logistic issues going on, especially with COVID still being very apparent in our lives today. Not as much, but it's still apparent when traveling internationally. So a lot of players have been stepping down off their country's rosters for the Olympics. So it's going to be very interesting, to say the least, when this happens, because Dennis is not even playing the Olympics this year. I believe Felix is playing, Leila Fernandez, Gabby Dabrowski, I believe, is playing. These are all Canadians for the Canadian national team. But honestly, I'm very excited for the second week. Let me know what you guys think of week 1. If I missed any particular matches that you guys loved watching, or if there's any favorites that you have going forward. Who was the most surprising, biggest disappointment? Let me know down in the comments below. We also have a Wimbledon shirt out on our shop, so make sure to go check that out at tweenerheadtennis.com/shop. And I hope everyone's having a great day. Stay safe. Enjoy Wimbledon, guys. Thanks, guys.